Did you know you could potentially leave $1 million or more on the table? This is how. I had a scenario recently whereby sold a property for $3 million. Now, the sellers approached me initially wanting to sell for about $2 million. The reason being is the next door neighbour, very identical property, very comparable. If anything, the house was a little bit better, sold 6 months prior for $2 million. Comparable sales at the time, and this was in a particular spot where comparable data was very low. There wasn't much out there. So really the most and the best comparable was the property next door, which sold for $2 million. In my mind, that was a good figure. Wasn't high, wasn't low. It was a good, comfortable price. We put together an expression of interest campaign. Ended up having a scenario 2 weeks in where there were two very strong buyers, potential buyers that submitted offers, good offers, above the $2 million mark, and everybody else was just way under. So way under $2 million. And the predicament we're in is one of these buyers was going overseas, business trip, remote area, communication was going to be terrible, services horrible. So, trying to email and offers and communicate just wasn't an option. He really wanted to get the deal done before he left. So I had a discussion with the sellers, explained to them scenario. My recommendation was that we close off the expression of interest early, just based on the fact that most of the buyers were way under the price range, and we only up until that point had two buyers that were already exceeding offers above the comparable property next door. So it made sense. Long story short, went back and forth. Ultimately, the gentleman that was going overseas didn't buy it. Ended up being the local person who required a bit of accommodation with a longer settlement, being 18 months, and a 2-part deposit installment plan. Through our negotiations, we ended up at $3 million. So $1 million over the expected reserve price and $1 million more than next door. Now, had we gone through a private treaty campaign, most sellers may have put a range of, let's say, 1.9 to 2.1, somewhere in the middle, or they may have ended up at 2.1. If you went to an auction and the reserve price was $2 million, I believe it'd be difficult for a buyer to pay $1 million over reserve. I think it would go over reserve, no question about it. But I think the likelihood of $1 million over reserve in a public auction would be quite difficult. And again, with an auction not accommodating or being less accommodating to terms and conditions and longer settlements and deposit schemes, it just wouldn't get there. And that's how some people leave $1 million on the table.